guys, so today we're going to be talking about the new Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Face and Eye Palette in the shade Rose Cashmere. It's an intensity 0.5. Just recently, Tom Ford has released 4 of these face palettes. So this is the one that we're going to be talking about today. I've picked up 2 other ones, Intensity 1, which is Red Harness, and also Intensity 2, which is Moonlit Violet. I'll be showing you swatches of all 3 of the palettes in case that's all you're interested in. You'll catch it right here in this video, but I'm going to be doing separate videos kind of demoing and talking more in depth about the other 2 palettes, so definitely subscribe if you're into these face palettes and my content in general. But this video is going to focus on this palette. So I'll be showing you swatches like I mentioned. I'll be talking about how much I like the formula. So spoiler alert, how much I like the formula, how much I like this palette, and then showing you some comparisons to some of the other eyeshadow quads, any shades that I feel like look a little bit similar. We'll talk about that. And then we'll get into the demo of this look. Why don't we get into the specifics of this face palette? So this was released on the Tom Ford site a couple weeks ago. Each of these palettes is $155, and I believe they've come out with 4 of them, although the deepest one, which is probably one that I would have passed on anyway because my skin tone is so light, but that one seemed to either have been sold out the most quickly or just wasn't stocked yet. So I purchased the other 3, and they did sell out on the Tom Ford site very, very quickly, but I did see on Instagram, I can't remember who posted it, but it seems like the other retailers are going to be carrying this in May. So probably over the next couple of weeks, you're going to start to see these pop up. I will leave links down below to any place I do find them if you want to come back here and check. Or if you want to follow me on Instagram, I like to post like new releases or restocks or things like that on my Instagram stories, just so you guys are aware. I've mentioned this before, but I feel like things sell out so quickly these days, and so I just like to share as soon as I know something. I like to share it with you guys. But anyway, let me show you a close-up of the actual packaging of these palettes. So the size, the weight, the dimensions, everything like that is just like their past face palettes, but the difference is now they're kind of in the regular kind of typical brown packaging, where all of the other palettes that they've come out with have been in the white Soleil packaging. So this is a nice change. A little bit odd considering this is coming out in the spring summer. I would have assumed they would have thrown the white on the packaging, but they decided to go with the brown, which is lovely as well. I have noticed though that not only does it pick up fingerprints, but it just picks up like weird staining that I can't even like wipe off with my fingertip. It doesn't even smudge. So this does get dirty very, very easily. And then on the inside, we have a mirror, and then we have 6 products. So we have a highlight, a bronze, and then we have 4 eyeshadows. And here are some swatches of the products inside. So first we have the highlighter, then we have the contour / bronzer, and then we have the 4 eyeshadows. And here are swatches from the Intensity 1 Red Harness face palette. Again, we have the highlighter, the bronzer, and then we have the 4 eyeshadows. And then next we have the Moonlit Violet face palette. In the past, all of the face palettes always had a highlight and a blush. So this is the first time they're actually doing like this shade and illuminate situation. And only once previously have there been this wet dry formula. So basically all but one of the previous face palettes all had the pressed powder formula of the eyeshadows, the highlighter, and what they had was the blush. So I was really excited when they actually did the previous version with the baked and this wet dry formula. And I was so happy to see that all the new ones that they've released have this baked and wet dry formula as well. So because the highlight and the bronzer are baked, I would definitely suggest using a kind of denser natural haired brush. I use the P22, which you'll see in the demo towards the end of this video, which is a very, very dense natural goat hair brush. I use that for the contour, and you can see there's like barely any kick up or anything, so it's not a very powdery formula at all. And I felt like I had to go in a couple of times with the brush to kind of get like the amount of contour / bronzer that I wanted. The highlight, the same situation, but I don't feel like I needed to go in to this product that much, probably because I needed less of this product because it is incredibly, incredibly shiny. These eyeshadows have the same texture and the same quality as the eyeshadow quads, which I was happy to see. I always feel like when they come out with these larger palettes, you're never quite sure if the quality or just, you know, the formula is going to be a little bit different, but the eyeshadows, I'm happy to report, are the same as the eyeshadow quads. Just really, really, I mean, they almost feel like fabric when you run your finger over them. They're just so unique, and they give you this beautiful light but shimmery wash over the lids. You guys know how much I love the Tom Ford wet dry eyeshadow formula. So you guys know, like, I love playing around with makeup, but 90% of the time, my day-to-day makeup, it's very light, it's very natural. So this palette is absolutely perfect for me. I love this bronzer slash contour because it is very neutral, cool leaning. So I can use it to very, very lightly kind of like sculpt out areas that I want, but it's not too cool where I can only use it to sculpt. It is definitely on the more neutral side, and I feel like it does warm up my face a little bit. I think it's so lovely. So when I swatched this highlighter and when I looked at it in the pan, I thought it was going to be way too yellow for me. But once I got it onto the skin, it is so, so beautiful. It works because the yellow tone to it is a little bit on the cooler side. It's almost like a lemony yellow versus a really warm, almost like orange tinted kind of gold yellow. And it just works really, really beautifully, especially over kind of a peachy tone blush. I used Love Lust today, and Love Lust has a bit of highlight itself, so it just works so beautifully. I feel like I see just enough of like the yellow tint in there just to kind of make it look a little bit golden, but I don't think it looks too yellow. I don't think it looks too like obvious on the skin. I think the highlight looks obvious because it is beaming, but I don't think the tone of it is too obvious. I think it actually blends into the skin nicely. So I was very pleasantly surprised by the highlighter. It is one of those really glossy, wet looking highlights that I absolutely love from Tom Ford. These baked highlights that Tom Ford puts out are just stunning. They're absolutely stunning. So I just love all the products in here. I love the look that I get from it. I love the soft eye look that I get. I just think it's perfect for spring, summer. And with like a face look like this, you can really have a lot of fun with the lip color. So I used the Tantalize Gloss Luxe lip gloss from Tom Ford today. It is like a peach color with a little bit of shimmer in it, and it's really, really pretty. But before that, I tried the crystalline color, which is more of a nude, and I thought that looked really nice too, but I wanted a little bit of something to kind of like tie in the peach eyeshadow, and I just thought that this was really nice. So I'm a huge, huge fan of this face palette. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons. We'll do some comparison swatches to some quads. So in terms of eyeshadow, aside from the bright peach color, I felt like the other three colors were very similar to what we have in the nude dip. So let's go ahead and take a look at these swatches. So on the left, you'll see the 4 swatches from the nude dip quad, and then the 3 swatches on the right are the 3 nude tones in the face palette. I feel like the first 3 shades in the nude dip are pretty much exactly the same as the 3 shades in this rose cashmere palette. So the next comparison I wanted to make was to this Soleil d'Hiver quad that came out in this past winter, and I just thought the peachy shades could be kind of similar. So let's take a look at these swatches. On the left, I have the face palette eyeshadow. So those are the first 4 that you see. And then the 4 swatches on the right-hand side are from the Soleil d'Hiver quad. So there's some similarities. I want to say the 3rd shade in the face palette quad kind of falls in between the 2nd and the 3rd shade in the Soleil d'Hiver quad. And the lightest shade in the Soleil d'Hiver quad has like micro glitters in there, which we don't see at all in the face palette. So again, some similarities, but no true dupes in there. So other than the nude dip and the Soleil d'Hiver, I really did not find many other dupes in any of the other Tom Ford eyeshadows. So why don't we jump into the demo so I can show you how I used this palette. So first I'm gonna go into the bronzer shade. I've got my Rephr P22 brush, and I'm just gonna dip that right in. And I'm using a natural haired dense brush because these are baked products, which generally are a little bit tougher to pick up than just like regular pressed powder products. And this bronzer has such a nice, neutral, almost cool lean to it. So it's really nice to sculpt if you're looking more for like a contour, even a bronzer, because I do think it warms up my face a little bit, but it really is very, very nice for sculpting. And since there's no blush in this palette, I just took out the Love Lust blush. I thought that would be a nice match. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this. I've got my Sonia G Cheek Pro brush. I got a little carried away there. Next, I've got my Sonia G Worker Fan Brush, and I'm gonna use this on the highlighter here. This highlighter has a very, very golden yellow kind of tint to it. So I am very curious to see, ooh, wow, blinding. That is a blinding highlight. So I do think the yellow keeps it from being too cool toned, but because it's not too warm of a yellow, it's also not, it's wearable. It's wearable on my skin tone is what I'm trying to say. It is really, really quite lovely. And it's a really nice match to this Love Lust blush. And the shine is gorgeous. All right, so those are the two cheek products, the contour slash bronzer and the highlight applied. I've already thrown in some of my Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel to my eyebrows. So let's go straight into the eyeshadow. Very excited to put these on my lid, especially this peach shade. Isn't that so pretty? So yeah, I think I'm gonna start with that peach shade. I'm gonna take my Sonia G Crease 2 brush and oh, there's a sticker on this mirror. Glorious. So I'm going to take that peach shade and go into my crease area, the socket line area, and just run it back and forth. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the outer edge over here. I may have to add a little bit more once I get the other colors on, but I think this is a good starting point. A really light, pretty wash of that peach color. I am going to go into this shade over here. I'm just going to take the same brush. Hopefully there's like a little bit of peach left. I think that'll be really nice to combine with that one. And I'm going to brush this onto the inner portion of my lid, over onto the center part of my lid. And then I'm going to grab this shade over here and use that on the outer corner here. And then I'm going to go back into the peach, just add a little bit more to that same area, but just kind of brighten it up a little bit there. Then I'm going to take my Sonia G Pencil 1 brush. I'm going to go into the lightest shade here, the inner corner, and a bit of the lower lash line here. I'm going to take my Pencil 1 brush again and go into this brown shade and drag that along my lower lash line. All right, that is it for this palette. I'm gonna go ahead and apply eyeliner, mascara, my lip color, and I'll be right back. So here's my final look using the Rose Cashmere Face Palette from Tom Ford. I just enjoy it so much. I think it is such a beautiful palette, especially for the spring, summer. I love this like soft touch that I have, and I don't think the camera really captures how beautiful this eyeshadow formula is, because it's like this kind of like watercolor wash of like a shimmer that just goes over your lid. So, so beautiful. I'm so in love with it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and definitely subscribe if you are interested in seeing my demo and review of the other two Shade and Illuminate face and eye palettes that I purchased from Tom Ford. The Red Harness and the Moonlit Violet are the other two. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video.